Um, Not a whole lot. I've got one thing in the narcotics. I guess I'll start with that one. But it's basically began yesterday with a traffic stop. We had an officer that stopped a car for some dark tinted windows, and that was near 41st and Sertoma. That was about 3:30 yesterday afternoon. Once they were talking to the driver, they ended up seeing a gun in the car and ended up finding some drugs inside the car. We had 2.6 pounds of marijuana, and then there was some marijuana wax, which is essentially concentrated THC that was found inside the car. The officer ended up getting hold of the Sioux Falls Area Drug Task Force, and they were able to get a warrant issued for the home where these two guys lived. That was in the 2900 block of South Hidden Place. Inside that home, or apartment, they found 5.9 pounds of marijuana, and there was 3 pounds of edibles that were also found. So the two guys were arrested, excuse me, for both of them were charged with distribution of controlled substance, possession of controlled substance, possession of marijuana 1 to 10 pounds, which is a felony, possession with intent to distribute marijuana, and then the driver was also charged with carrying a concealed weapon with intent to commit a felony, which is a felony charge. It was loaded, yep, the gun was loaded. Yep, so the first guy, the driver, his last name is Peter, Peter. First is Weedo, Wedo. They just have a middle initial of A as in Adam, and he's 21 from Sioux Falls. And I think I said apartment. That should have been, I think that's a trailer home. The passenger of the car, his last name is Nelson, Nelson. First is, I thought this was two women, or two guys. It was a man and a woman, so I'm sorry. So the passenger is a woman. Last name is Nelson. First is Courtney, Courtney. Middle is Jade, Jade. And she is 20, also from Sioux Falls. Yeah, the initial, it was a traffic stop, and there had been some information that these two had been involved in some type of drug activity, and so the drug task force was somewhat familiar with their names, and so that was part of the reason that the search warrant was issued. It was just because they had information that they had been involved in selling drugs. They were pulled over about 3:30 p.m.
That was in 31st and Sertoma?
41st and Sertoma. Yep, 41st and Sertoma.
What was the cross street address for where their apartment was located?
That one is... That is probably near like 41st and Ellis, kind of in that neighborhood.
And what was the 100 block?
It was the 2900 block of South Hidden Place.
Gotcha. Can you name the amounts again one more time?
Yeah, inside the car, they found 2.6 pounds of marijuana and some marijuana wax. And then inside the trailer home, it was 5.9 pounds of marijuana and then 3 pounds of edibles. There's also a lot of other paraphernalia types, some bags and scales and other things associated with distribution.
Would you consider this a pretty big bust for those amounts?
I mean, it's a sizable amount. When we're talking about marijuana, it's a sizable amount. I mean, we've seen more than that, but anytime you're dealing with pounds of marijuana, it's a pretty big amount.
Is this kind of the first kind of big bust of this size this year, or you guys have others?
There's been others. Like some of the stuff, obviously, with a lot of the drug investigations, we're not able to release all the information right away. So I wouldn't say that this is the first big bust this year, but it's obviously a sizable amount.
And then the driver was male, passenger was female?
Driver was a male. That was Weedo Peter, and then the passenger was female Courtney Nelson. No, the gun inside the car was the only weapon that was found. There were some other, I think it was ammunition that was found inside the trailer. Let me see here if I can. Yeah, I don't see that right now. I got too many supplements on this report, but let me check one other thing here. I think it was just ammunition that was found inside the trailer, but let me double check if I can find that quick. There it is. There's a heat sealer, some packing material, a scale, quite a few rounds. There was 12 bullets of one caliber and then 300 of another caliber. And it looks like some other wax residue was also found in the trailer. I don't have amounts on how much of the wax was found, though.
And the charges were the same for both of them?
Charges were the same for both, except Peter had the extra charge of carrying a concealed weapon with intent to commit a felony.
Oh, he had it concealed on him.
Well, it was concealed in the car.
Oh, gotcha.
Yep. The way the law is written, it's on or about their person, so that's what they went by. Good on that. Okay. Nothing else really that I saw in the log, but the aggravated assault, that was a really late report. That one, somebody made a report about an aggravated assault that happened, they thought 2 or 3 years ago. They weren't quite sure on that one, so no arrests, suffice to say. The one assault was a domestic. The burglary, we had a couple of garages, some houses, storage unit that were entered, nothing big taken from any of those. The disorderlies ended up being reports, some traffic, somebody wandering in traffic, some trespassings, a few other reports on those, but nothing big. Family offenses were more reports. The fraud, one was a fake 100 that was found. No suspects on that.
Is that out of business or just?
Yeah, that was out of business.
You have a block address for that one?
Yep, and that was like, let's see, 57th and Louise.
Is that like movie money or something?
No, this one, let me see here. It doesn't say anything about the bill. And it just says that it just didn't look right. They used the counterfeit pens and it failed on that as well. And so at least the report doesn't say if it was motion picture use money or had the Chinese symbols on it. Those are the most common ones, but this doesn't say that. The other frauds, just some reports on those. ID theft, a wallet taken from a car. Larcenies, a couple of shopliftings, a couple of items that people left behind. When they went back, they were gone. Another package stolen. Narcotics, nothing big from the other ones. Marijuana and controlled substance, our normal meth stuff. The sex offenses, a couple of those were reports, and a couple were sex offenders that didn't register. The simple assaults were some more domestics. Nothing suspicious with either unattended death. There's an unknown problem on the log. That was a lost cell phone. Vandalisms, most of those are cars that were damaged. Had a couple of apartments as well, but nothing big. And the weapons, what's that? No, there's a couple of them that happened, had the same location, but that sounds like it was in an apartment building, basically a neighbor dispute. So there was 2 reports that were made, 2 different incidents, but basically involving the same people on that one. The weapons violation, that was somebody had some brass knuckles in their pocket, which is prohibited under city ordinance, so. That's all I have, unless you guys have anything.
Any converters going overnight?
No catalytic converters this time. Knock on wood.